What's up, everybody? Welcome to the third episode of the Meathead podcast. Our Meathead panel today might be joined by Body in a second, but right now we have Yusuf Wilkosh, the great, where was he from? Germany?
Germany, yes.
Yeah. It's actually Big Mike Cox, but we're trying to stump you younger people with bodybuilders you probably have never heard of. Type that into your Google search images, and you'll see he was actually pretty badass. He had the beard, very, very rugged upper body. And all the way from Nova Scotia. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, Nova Scotia is actually part of Canada, guys. And coming to us from Nova Scotia is Quinton Eriya. You know him by the channel EP09. Great channel for bodybuilding. I was just on it. I think you posted the video today. I did a preview of this same show we're talking about today with AJ Kelly Robert. Yes. It's the first time I spoke. I haven't even seen AJ in, can't even remember. It's been a while. Anyway, guys. Today we're talking about the France Pro. It's actually the Tsunami Pro, but I'm going to call it the France Pro because Tsunami Nutrition isn't giving me a dime, so I'm just going to call it France Pro. And this is Quinton Eriya's fifth show in a row. He competed 8 weeks ago, Saturday. It'll be 8 weeks since he did Tampa, so that's a long time to hold your peak. Wow. He did that. He did Texas. We know he went to Italy. He went to Germany. First of all, guys, did you see this coming? Did you figure he's going to hang on and go ahead and do France to try to get an early qualification for 2026?
I personally, I thought he was going to shut it down after the last show. It's been a long year, right? But like you said, he's maintained his condition for a long time, which is very rare, especially for a guy that big. I'm sure it takes a lot of food to fuel that physique, but he's stayed in shape. He hasn't really gotten blurry at all. So, and we always complain, why don't these guys do more shows?
Yeah.
Well, listen, he's competing. He's doing the business of bodybuilding, and travel and doing it all over the world. It's not like he's going to Toronto to do a show. He's flying across the globe, bro. So, props to him, man. And he seems to be getting better and better the more shows he does.
Yeah. So at least he doesn't trick us. He says with full disclosure, this was 4 days out of Italy, so this isn't completely recent. I can't imagine he's going to look too different than this. It's just you have to wonder, though, how long can anybody stay that lean and peak over and over and over again without it affecting, especially fullness is one thing that seems to go on guys who do these multiple shows over the span of a couple months. Kenson, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's a lot of uncharted territory for Quint Beastwood when it comes to the 2024 season. The most he has ever competed consecutively in one season was 2. He has done 2 shows in one season up to this point in his career. So to go to 5 shows, especially given the fact that this is a new physique for him essentially compared to when he was just doing the 2 shows in that one in those previous years.
Yeah,
like I said, this is uncharted territory. So. Not to mention the fact, and I do revert back to this quite very often, I should say.
Yeah.
Between show 2 and 3, he competed, or he went and trained with Samson Dauda. Now, anybody that watches Samson Dauda train, that is very difficult training for even the best of the best out there. Okay, so for him to go through that kind of punishment, come back for more, then go and do another show, and now trying to hang on again. Mike, like you said, to compete again internationally, I mean, hats off to the guy. He's doing the business of bodybuilding, and I am thrilled that he is doing this show. But to your original question, was I expecting this? Absolutely not. I thought that he was going to shut it down. I thought that he was going to go back to the drawing board. I did hear that he was going to spend some more time with Samson Dauda in his off season.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, I think this does line him up for, regardless of what happens at the France Pro, an even better 2026 season.
Oh, no doubt.
All right, we just been joined by the Macho Man, Beatty Ferry. Beatty, what's up? Welcome. You got your hat on, I see. See, I didn't put mine on because my hair, I paid too much for my hair in Turkey. But thoughts on Quint Beastwood, Beatty? We're talking about him doing the France Pro, and this is 8 weeks in peak condition. Tampa was 8 weeks ago. What are your thoughts on whether it's sustainable to hold your peak that long and be your best on the final show out of all those, the 5th show?
Well, first of all, how you doing, guys? How you doing?
What's up?
How you doing?
Lady.
And then, but yeah, so I didn't think he was gonna do it because I saw he went back to Canada, right? And I figured he wouldn't come back just to leave again, right? Because water weight, the whole nine, managing meals. But I'm really happy he's doing it. First of all, I think some bodies. Hey, what's up? Hey, I think some bodies do better with more shows because people who have issues peaking, they could try different things and learn their body, right? Somebody maybe always shredded might have a harder time staying full, right? For instance, so I think for Quinton, as we've seen, I think it's safe to say he's gotten better every single show. Would you guys agree with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
He's getting a chance to learn his body and what to tweak. So I think this might just be it. I mean, judging from the lineup and how he's looking, I think this is it. I think he's gonna get his Olympia qualification unless something crazy happens, like Stephane Matala, I think his name. Unless if that guy looks exactly how he looks under in that gym under that lighting, then he could actually go. But I think Quinn is too big and just as aesthetic as that guy. So shout out Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to root for the guy because who does this? 5 shows. He's gone, from Canada to the U.S. twice. Goes over to Italy. He's been in the UK for extended periods of time. Goes over to Germany. Then he goes back to Canada. Now it's a lot of travel, and that alone has got to be. I can't even. I cringe at thinking about packing my suitcase and unpacking it that many times. But we hope this guy nails it. We hope he gets his early qualification. And then I assume, shut it. If he gets that, shut it down. He doesn't have to compete again until next year, till next October.
That's a long run up, Brian. That's a long run up. And like what he was saying, he's learning his body. Like you don't get this kind of experience practicing, in the gym. Learning to travel, to carry your food, to time zones. That can only help you. And a lot of guys now don't have that kind of experience. Remember, those guys would go to Europe for 7-8 shows after the Olympia, right?
Yeah.
They, doing 2 shows a week. They had that experience. So this can only help him. And he looks ridiculous there. It's not like he's gotten watery or he's lost his peak. He's maintained that look and improved, right? Since Tampa. 8 weeks is a long time to diet. I dieted for 2 weeks in between the show. I was ready to kill somebody. So I can't fathom doing it for 8 weeks. However, if your sponsor is paying for it, and he may be getting bonuses for prize money, so he's maybe just banking money. So you get experience, you may be getting some extra money, and you're getting fans overseas. Like how often do we talk about Giles doing the tours? How you have to, after bodybuilding, you have to think about that. So he's going overseas, making all these contacts, right, in Italy and France, and the fans love him. So you have that fan base in Europe. So there's money making opportunities. So this is a very smart move. But again, I thought he'd shut it down, but it's a smart move, man. Props to him.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't actually think he's gonna shut it down. Well, I think he's gonna shut it down for a while after the show, but I don't think he's gonna take one of those extended off seasons again because he's done it a few times and it hasn't really helped him, right? And he's been hanging out with Samson. If you guys remember, when Samson used to take like a full off season, he didn't really progress until he started doing more shows. Is when he started to progress. So I think Quint being a similar body type and him doing the long off seasons, it didn't really work. Like him taking 2 years off, he didn't really. I mean, he kind of went backwards actually. So now that he's competing more often, he's looking better. So I think he has to shut it down for a little bit because he's done 5 shows. But I think he actually might jump into like a New York or I don't know, Pittsburgh or something like later on. Arnold probably was too early. But
okay.
Hey, Beatty, your mic sounds off, man. You sound like me when I'm underwater, dude. Like there's something going on with your mic.
Is it bad? Okay. Let me try to fix it. Oh, it might be
going on. But look,
for those who don't know, Kenton is you run a scuba boat. How would you describe it? I can't even describe it properly.
I own and operate a commercial diving and marine services company. So I'm a certified commercial diver, dive supervisor, boat operator, marine surveyor, oil spill. Respect. I wear many hats, although not wearing a specific hat right now. But yeah. Anyway, I completely agree when it comes to Quint Beastwood. You know, although it's been a long season, I don't think that it serves him well to take any extended off season at this point. I think he will get better the more that he competes, and especially given the fact that Samson will continue to offer him that help. Go spend some more time over in Europe. Go compete at some more European shows. People love to see that. I mean, he could always come home, compete at the Toronto Pro, and that's all well and good. You know, hit some shows in the States, but this is something that's just unique for you know, a Canadian competitor, especially. Regan Grimes spent some time overseas doing some shows, but really, this is somewhere that I think Quint Beastwood has fit very well this season. So for him to try to replicate that, especially with an improved physique next year, yeah, I think it can be very exciting.
So he's a heavy favorite, but then we found out just a few days ago, because he was keeping it very quiet what show he was doing. James Hollingshead, the Shed, who we haven't seen since very early in the season. I it's been so long, I forgot he was 8th place at the Arnold and 3rd place in Detroit, and then I assumed that was it for the year, but pops up on this list. This was actually 6 weeks ago, this footage. So he's been in shape for a long time. I think this is Quint's biggest threat, honestly, right here.
Mm-hmm. If he's on, but he's been in shape for like 12 weeks, but he's got a very dense, mature look to him. But it's just a matter of bringing that right peak for James, because he's great, and then the show something happened, right? Mm-hmm. He was great in the Arnold, then it wasn't what we expected. Fix it for Pittsburgh, a lot better for Detroit. But he's still trying to find that right combination of size and condition. But dude has that like kind of branch-esque, nasty, I train heavy as shit look. So it's a different look from Quinton. It's not as pretty, but it's kind of like a Flex versus Dorian type battle.
You guys noticing like, oh, first of all, is my mic better?
Yeah. Oh yeah, perfect. Way better, dude.
Perfect. Yeah. The mic was connected to my headphones for some reason, but so you guys notice one common theme, right? Who were the two people who've beaten Quint? We had Jordan and we had Urs. Very similar to James. They're like bigger white guys who come in shape with full muscle bellies, with really good legs, and maybe not the best back, maybe not the best arms, but still very balanced, right? So it's kind of like the same bodybuilder again and again and again, and they're able to beat him. So we can't put it past James. If he's in shape, he's the same height as those guys, probably the same weight, with some of the same strengths. So he could actually be a really big threat to Quint. So Quint has to be his best. He has to be his best, you know.
I mean, we're looking at the back shots. This is where James destroys Quint right here.
Yeah.
Shape and structure. There's nobody in this lineup that comes close to Quint. Beautiful shape and structure. Certain shots of his, like the front double bicep, just lights out. But I worry if it comes down to the back, and sometimes it does. James, or should I say Shed might just take him.
And I mean, he actually has better arms and back than Jordan and Urs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think in the side too, James can really take Quint Beastwood out. I mean, he just has a better shape to his arm because I think he has rounder triceps. You can see like just ridiculous when it comes to the side shots, right? And the roundness of the quads as well. He has that roundness of the quads right from the hip tie-in right down to the knee, right? And with Quint Beastwood, it's a little bit more straight up and down, although Quint might have a little bit more detail in the quads than James as a possibility. So I think it is going to come down to a very close decision, but most certainly James is a very serious threat. The more that I actually see him, the more I think that he is more likely actually to take out a guy like Quint Beastwood.
Yeah, and I think James, we've been waiting for him to kind of nail it for a couple of years, but he's had some trouble with the Olympia, but he's very he posts a lot of physique updates, so I think this is a lot of excitement to see him in this kind of shape going up against, like I said, Quint, who's been at it for a while. But again, at what point does Quint's physique kind of just go? Because it's a long time, man. Like your body can only take so much for so long, right? And Canada to France, that's a hell of a flight, and the time, like I said, the time zones. But if this was 30 years ago or 20 years ago, around, Quinton was going to win because it's his turn.
Yeah,
but I think we're at a point now that it's about your physique. It's a risky move, but I respect the hell out of this dude putting it on the line like this. Most guys won't do overseas shows. How many of those guys from the top 5 the Olympia going to do Prague? Really? You know what I mean? Most of them just shut it down. But I respect these guys because I know we all know how hard it is to diet and train and travel, God forbid, overseas. But James could win this show and could get his Olympic qualification.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say this is going to be Quint's last show. I can't see him holding on all the way until what's the next one after that? Prague. It's like another month away.
The UK show, right? UK is ready.
Off the Olympia.
Yeah, but that won't serve him any good to do that. I agree. I mean, you got to get to a point. I mean, look, you got to shut it down. It would be a detraction both when it comes to the physique that he would present and to his momentum, despite the fact of not even winning a show yet, although he may in the upcoming days to come. It wouldn't serve him well. Regardless of the outcome of this one, he's going to be at least top 2. Shut it down, have a successful season, come back better next year.
Yeah. Well, the more I look at these updates, I gotta agree with Kenson. Is that how you pronounce it, Kenson?
Yes. Yep.
I gotta agree with you. The more I look at this, I think he's actually better than because I said, okay, he's basically the same as Urs and Jordan, but now looking at him, I think he's actually bigger, and his back and arms are actually better than Jordan and Urs. So the more I'm looking at this, I'm actually getting more nervous for Quint. I got to be honest with you.
Like James has got some nasty muscle, dude. Like, he's got some nasty, hard, grainy muscle to him. But that's from that heavy training he does. Like, people don't. He still squats. Like, who squats with like regular barbells? Nobody. And this is maybe the old man in me, but that gives you a different look than a lot of machines. Look at that shit. That's grainy old man muscle right there, bro. That's like that Dorian type shit, and it's just it comes from doing heavy ass weight.
Hey, did you guys see that video of Kevin Levrone at an expo, and he would like, you squat, and they would be like, yes. You don't squat. They'd be like, no. Like, he was able to guess who squats and who doesn't by looking at them, and he was right. He was right every time. Wow. So you're actually right. Yeah, but I think there's a difference in the look at that for sure.
That's heavy shit, bro.
He's got a rubber band around his freaking legs. I don't know.
And right, he's doing a narrow stance too.
Yeah, I mean, he's on a board. He's got the freaking band keeping his knees together, and those reps are as
loves it.
Yeah, those reps are like butter, as Jose would say.
Those are real reps, like ass to grass.
Yeah. I've seen him do like 8 plates.
He loves it, man. Like, James just really loves to train. He'll walk into these like little nothing hole in the wall gyms and get the absolute most out of it and absolutely love every minute of it. He gets to know the people there. He gets to know the owner. Any place that he goes, I mean, he makes it home. And it's another testament to him just being, a bodybuilder's bodybuilder, the pursuit of knowledge, the love of training. And now I think that we'll see probably the best that we'll see from James coming up here shortly is definitely the hope. And like you said, Beatty, Quint's going to get a good push this round.
Yeah.
Well, there's another guy that if he puts it all together, he does have a chance. So we're talking about Hassan Mostafa, who I had on an interview a few days ago. His lovely wife translated for me, which is good because I don't speak any Arabic. So Hassan has all the muscle in the world. He's put on 20 pounds since last year. He's got a new coach named Dominic, but it's not any of the Dominics we know. Some Dominic from Poland. So he's supposed to be. He was 280 last week.
What?
And I think, Mike, we've stood next to him. Would you say he's about 5'7"?
Yeah, he's our height, bro. He's about 5'7".
Yeah, so he's like Nick Walker size, basically, in terms of height and weight, with much better legs. Structurally, yeah, he doesn't have the widest clavicles, doesn't have the most narrow waist. Structurally, wasn't that gifted, but gobs and gobs of muscle. When he is in shape, which he hasn't been shredded more than, geez, I guess, would you
Twice,
say that Vancouver win was the only time he was really in crazy condition?
Yeah, that was it.
No, there was an Orlando pro.
Yeah, Orlando
yeah. When he was with that coach, AJ Sims, he was
factory.
Yeah, he was shredded at least 3 times. I thought I saw Kenson shaking his head. Are you thinking the same thing? Are you kind of thinking what I'm thinking, Kenson?
Well, look, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, I mean, this guy is the definition of mass. He is so very, very impressive. I mean, he is round. He is ridiculously big. And to stand next to a couple of these bigger guys in this lineup, like James Hollingshead, Lewis Breed, he'll compare very well. But I think that he does look like, frankly, 6 weeks out, I would say at best. And this is typically what you see from Hassan. I don't know what his plan is when it comes to his coach. I don't know how recent these updates are, but I don't know how well it's going to work out for him based on what I'm seeing here. And I hope I'm wrong. I want to see this guy really nail it just like everybody else in the bodybuilding world, because when he does, he is really something special that walks onto a stage. Based on what I'm seeing now, though, I am not very optimistic that we're going to see it.
I don't want to hear 280 from Hassan. I don't want to hear 20 pounds heavier. I would want to hear 20 pounds lighter. I would actually be like, well, okay, I think now we're onto something. He doesn't need any muscle.
Like 20 pounds. I mean, 20 pounds on that physique is a lot of muscle. But again, bodybuilders always kind of like exaggerate like their weight and their height. So you always subtract an inch from their height and at least 10 pounds from what they say. So maybe he put on 12 pounds of muscle. Run 12 pounds. Listen, 20 pounds of pure tissue, right, on that physique is hard to do. So, I mean, it's cool, but everybody knows when he's shredded, he's great. Cement Factory had him shredded that one show, the Vancouver show.
Yeah.
But since then, man, it's just been hit or miss. I mean, you constantly change coaches. Like, is it really the coach or is it you? You gotta stick with it to see what works. You can always change it up, change protocols. It's just you're trying to find that winning formula, but just give it time to work. But dude, he's got so much muscle, like nasty, dense muscle. But listen, we never know. Remember Justin Rodriguez when a couple weeks out, he would always look bad. He may nail it, but we don't know some water. A little diuretic sprinkled on top, a little bit of water. What may happen, right? You may mix it all together and poof. But 280 at 5'7", that's a lot of muscle, bro. Yeah. Like that's just not. I don't think that's gonna be enough condition to beat the other guys.
But like, my question is why, right? Imagine if you hear Andreas Munster getting ready for a show, right? And he's like, "Hey, bro, I'm like 10 pounds more peeled this show." You're gonna be like, "Munster, I don't think that's the issue here. I don't think you need to be any more peeled, I think we're all good on the condition here. So I think that's kind of what it is for him. I don't think size is something that he needs to be chasing at all.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to throw it out there that he was 11th place at the Olympia, the only time he's been to the Olympia. So just out of the top 10. But that was the best condition. Probably the best condition he was ever been in was at Olympia.
And didn't he
Rod, you interviewed him
for a little while too. Like, Aceto had a hard time getting him lean as well. And eating like hardly no food whatsoever. He still couldn't get that kind of crazy condition.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I mean, obviously size comes easily to him, but condition not so much.
And
he's the anomaly of the bodybuilding world.
Yeah.
No, he really is. Well, Ron, you interviewed him. I mean, where do you think he's going to land in this lineup?
If the condition isn't any better than what we're seeing, if he doesn't pull a rabbit out of his hat, I see him in 3rd place behind Quinton and James. We got other guys we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at other guys, Budasim, Stephane, Theo, Breed. A couple of those guys have the potential to beat him too. But I'm rooting for Hassan. He's had his dad just passed away in June. That's why he was supposed to compete earlier in the season, but that happened, and that obviously threw him for a little loop. But yeah, he's a good guy, a family man, very humble, soft-spoken. I know it doesn't matter. We're just talking about physiques, but I'm rooting for the guy.
Dude, those pictures you were just showing, that just looked absolutely disgusting. He was nasty looking like that. Like you would just hope that he would just be skinless one time, just so we can see what that would look like fat free. Because it would probably like. And we always had this dude. He's got the muscle to be a top 6 guy, but just not the condition yet. But like those pictures were just. I was sitting here like just my mind was blown, bro.
Yeah.
Well, his muscularity is like it's almost like it's like unbelievable. I mean, it's not normal. It's pretty. Insane.
Gene deficient or some shit.
Yeah.
That big blue cow.
Just to clarify, his coach, he told me it was Dominic, but it's not Dom Cardone. It's not Dom Super Sliced. It's a Dominic from Poland. He told me the name, and it went right past me. Do you know who he is?
Oh, no.
No. Okay. All right. Well,
too many.
No idea.
This isn't in order of how I think they're going to finish, but we're talking about Stephane. So this is, we're all excited about classic guys moving up to open, of course. We saw what Urs was able to do. So this is Stephane Matala from France. This is an update from a week ago. And he's been this lean for quite a while from what I recall, because I follow him and it looks like he's been in this condition for a couple months at least at this point. I don't know if he always looks like that or what. But yeah, what do you think, guys? I mean, the shape is just look at those pec striations. Jeez.
The muscle bellies, the separation is honestly insane. Here's my thing. I just don't believe he's gonna look like this on stage, because if he did, he would probably win the show. And I just can't see him looking like this. I think something he's gonna give. He either may look round but not peeled, or peeled but not round, right? When he did classic, I know it was different, but he actually looked peeled that last show he did, but not round. Granted, he had to lose some muscle. Man, I mean, this physique, at some point, it might not be this year, at some point he's gonna do really well. One thing that made me nervous, I don't know if you guys saw the post that he's no longer with Patrick Tour.
Yeah.
And then AJ said Patrick left him.
Right.
That's a bad sign, because Patrick is my way or the highway. If you don't follow what I'm saying, I no longer want to coach you. So if that means he's not following what Patrick is saying, that's not good. That's not good.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's put it out there, but a couple people that I heard exactly, I saw some messages, and that is exactly what was going on. Is he wasn't doing what Patrick wanted him to do. He wasn't complying to the program 100%. So yeah, that's a bad sign. But still, he looks this good already. I mean, what more was Patrick would peak him, obviously, the water, the drying out, the carb loading, and all that. But my concern with Stephane is he looks so fantastic on his own, but certain poses, that frontal bicep, you can see the shape is beautiful, but he's not a big guy. When he stands next to Quinton, when he stands next to Hassan, Hollingshead, Breed, these are much thicker guys. Like right there, you could see he's not a big guy. Very full round muscle bellies, but I think he's going to look small in comparison to those guys.
And the stage isn't social media, right? The gym shots, the stage light is unforgiving. So, we always see the best poses on social media. We don't ever see the weakest poses, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody looks great by themselves, 2 weeks out, 5 days out. They're still full. They got salt, right? But it's a whole different ballgame when you're on stage. So he doesn't look as thick as James or as wide as Quinton. So that may hurt him. And again, too, when your coach leaves you, right? Like if Bill Belichick left the Patriots before the Super Bowl, we know that'd be a problem, right? That's not normal. So it makes you wonder, if you're not listening to your coach, how's it going to look on stage? But no doubt he's got the shape. The shape's there. Eventually, he's going to figure this shit out. And then he's going to cause some problems. But, this is stepping to the big leagues. I mean, classic is one thing, opens a different ballgame. You're going to get some dogs. You're showing for him, but, you just never know when you're next to the heavy hitters.
Yeah. Look, I spoke with Patrick, and I think that everybody has a very firm understanding that Patrick is a true professional of the industry and really only wants to work with those as such. to that end, Stephane was not fulfilling that role as a client. So there is a couple of comments that I'm seeing, Ron, that you're bringing up about Stephane being a lazy bodybuilder. Now, I will say, and shout out to Black Patron and Connie Alvarez. These guys are, and Raymond Jones as well. These guys, they're all over bodybuilding too. But you guys might remember when Stephane was trying to strip down to classic weight. This guy was doing, ridiculous amounts of cardio and eating next to nothing. He's not lazy. I would not call him lazy, but I would call him, in terms of just the physique for this show, I agree with you, Ron, too small. And I don't know if there's an immaturity factor in terms of the, inability to work with a guy like Patrick or what it might be. But regardless, you cannot deny the shape, the roundness. He has some serious potential, and I hate using that word in bodybuilding, but for this show, top 5 would be great. I don't think that he'll do much better than I would put him somewhere around 5th place, I think, at this point.
How tall is
That's
he?
fair. 5'11", from my understanding.
Oh, he's pretty taller. Okay.
But okay, here's the thing. Just because you're like pretty tall for bodybuilding and even your weight is on the heavy side, still doesn't mean you're going to be dense enough.
No,
as crazy as that sounds. So
like
he's literally my height, my weight. And I have the same issue. If I'm posting videos before USA's, everybody's like, bro, you're going to win the show.
Mm.
But on stage, the other guys still look denser than me.
It's a different look. Yeah, it's a different look. Totally different look.
So you could be round, full, and a good height, but there's a different level of density sometimes that these guys have. And he's not narrow, but he's not the widest guy neither.
Yeah.
So you stand him next to, like Ron said, next to James and Lewis Breed and Quint. Yeah. I just don't think he's not small, but I just don't think he's gonna have the density to beat them.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't remember his height. But you guys remember in Classic where he was getting accusations of trying to cheat the heighting in process? You guys remember that?
Yeah,
too?
yeah,
yeah. That was something, man. I don't know, like that. He got out of Classic for a reason, right?
It's a pretty physique, man. But again, you can't go off what social media is, and people get sucked into like these pre-contest picks and he's gonna win because he's posing in the basement. It was awesome. Well, the basement isn't like the head of the lights, and you haven't taken a diazide yet, right? So we got to see how all that works out once all that shit happens. So, but again, he's getting a lot of attention, a lot of hype. So you just kind of hope that the physique matches the hype because fans are unforgiving, and they see you looking like this, they want to see that on stage. And then if you don't, oh my God, you suck. Well, it doesn't suck, but sometimes it's not what you get on social media.
He also has a huge expectation on him because of what Urs just did. Mm-hmm. So now I think people expect every classic guy that moves to open to just dominate because they have that superior shape and flow to their physiques and they're typically better posers. But, not everyone's going to be an Urs. That's probably not the pattern for every single classic guy.
No,
but still, we wish him the best.
That's like a recent thing. Back in the day, like even as somebody as good as Phil Heath, he turns pro, all this hype, but nobody was expecting him to win his debut. He did, but it wasn't like an expectation. Whereas now, literally everybody is supposed to like win, and if you don't, you're kind of like a failure, and that's just not how it works for everybody.
It sucks that it's like that because that's not realistic bodybuilding, right? Placing a top 5 at a professional bodybuilding show is a huge accomplishment. Listen, turning pro in bodybuilding, no disrespect to any other class, is hard. I remember being in that 3rd call out at the USA in '98, watching some dogs, right? So people I don't think realize just how special these guys are and how impressive they are because social media kind of gives you a false view that these guys aren't impressive. I'm still impressed as shit when I go to Tampa every year and you see these freaks and it's a freak show, but fans, I think we get so accustomed to seeing these guys all the time that they're like, oh, they're not that impressive. But in reality, top 3 or top 5 at this show, That's a damn good outing. How many pros out there are that don't even place? That you know what I mean? That don't even make a call to come to the last call. So people put a lot of expectation on these guys that are kind of, really high on it, not fair a lot of times.
100%.
Yeah, Mike, you're talking the definition of Lewis Breed, and I know we're going to get to him, but that is the definition of a guy like Lewis Breed. Super impressive. Typically, like 9 times out of 10 finishes in the top 5. Lewis is an extremely, extremely impressive competitor. Nobody shows up harder and grainier. He's a ridiculous mass monster, and he doesn't shy away from it. And I think that he is going to fare very well in this show in particular because there's some other mass monsters in it. He doesn't have to stand next to like 5 other aesthetic guys in the first colo, This is going to be, I think, a really good show for Lewis.
That's nasty.
I think he's underrated, man. Like shape counts for a lot, right? I think shape counts for a lot. If the good shape has enough muscle as in shape. But I think if you have this much muscle condition and peak that perfectly, I think you should be beating guys who have better shape, unless they're like pretty close to your size and condition. So I think he could be okay. I love Sergio. I thought he should have beat Sergio at I wish I was that.
Yeah, me too.
Italy, right?
Yeah, that was Italy. Yeah. Look, I interviewed Lewis on my channel, and this guy has serious high hopes of really making a statement in bodybuilding over the next season or two. Like, he can compare with some of these mass monsters, I think, very well. He is aware of what now here's one thing I'll tell you about Lewis Breed. To actually control his midsection on stage, he started working with a yoga coach to practice breathing through his chest rather than through his stomach. Like, who does that, man?
Yeah,
like it's insane. I'm telling you, expect big things from Lewis Breed. I'm a huge fan of Lewis Breed, and I think that he is easily going to be battling for top 3 spot when it comes to this France Pro.
Like, I'm a shape guy all the way, but there's something about like that kind of guy that's got that nasty, grainy muscle. Like, you can't ignore that. Like, beauty and shape and aesthetics, that's all part of bodybuilding. But you can't say just because he's not pretty that he's not as impressive or he should get the same consideration because, condition to me, I'm a condition guy too. And to look like that, you got to suffer. They all suffer, but to get that nastiness, that's just some nasty shit right there. And that kind of shit should be rewarded. It's just we're at a point in the sport where the shape guys that aren't as hard or conditioned get a little more love than the guys that are kind of hard and not as pretty, which it wasn't always that way. So kind of pendulum's kind of shifted to where now, like, you don't have to be 100% dry condition to win, right? Samson's not dug out, but he's still pretty enough to win. But with Lewis, man, he's got to be in the mix because you can't ignore that kind of nasty condition. And again, listen, there isn't really a symmetry around anymore. I know people like to think there is. There's no true like quarter turn, hit a pose. Shape's important, but so is being in shape. And this dude's in shape, and like, you just look and just shake your head and appreciate that kind of just nasty shit right there, man.
I was at Texas Pro last year. I want to say he got 4th or 5th. You guys remember?
Yeah, I think it was 4th.
4th, yep.
And I'm looking. This was a different Jordan. This was a much smaller Jordan. Jordan was 2nd, and that guy was 3rd. The guy that used to be in 212. I'm sorry, I forget his name. Really good bodybuilder. But I'm looking at Lewis, and I'm looking at the lineup, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, he's not pretty, but he's not ugly. And I'm looking at his condition and size, and I'm like, man, I mean, this guy could be in 2nd. I honestly believed that at the time. And he wasn't gonna be Andrew, of course. But I'm like, if you put him in 2nd, I don't think anybody would complain because everybody could respect him. When he came out, the reaction was a really good reaction. He was dense. He was gnarly. He's really good. I think he's underrated.
Oh, he's in shape too.
Freak, man.
He's never off.
He's a freak.
Like,
No,
he's not. He's a freak, and he leans into it. He doesn't want to be anything else but a freak. That's what he wanted to be when he started bodybuilding, and that's exactly what he has turned into. That show where he took 4th at I think it was 2023 Texas. Andrew Jack took 1st, Hunter Labrada 2nd, Carlos Thomas Jr. was in 3rd.
But no, the other one
that year as well.
I'm thinking about when Jordan got 2nd. Remember Andrew, Jordan, and then the guy that used
Yeah.
to be in 212. I forget his name. I'm sorry. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I wasn't carrying.
A white guy he's from Indiana. He got his first 212. He got like top 5. He was with Hostile.
Owns a gym there.
Yeah, he owns a gym. Yeah, he was with Hostile for a while.
He's on my
I don't know
Facebook.
why.
Oh, son of a bitch.
God, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I'm losing his name. Yeah, but he's really good as well. Epler, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Lewis was right behind Nate Epler, if I'm not mistaken. Last year when Andrew won last year, right?
Yeah.
He
did, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a really good Lewis as well. And I don't think his waist is that wide. I think his waist is short. I think he had a really short torso. And that might throw off the aesthetics, but
I mean, it's a wide waist when you're up there with someone like Quinton, who's probably got a 29-inch waist or something.
or like Andrew. Yeah,
it depends on the lineup too, man. Like it's certain, like in certain lineups, he'll stand out a lot better. In certain ones, he won't. I think in this lineup, like he's gonna really stand out because that's just that gnarly muscle. You can't ignore it. And the judges have seen him before, and he's a guy. He's gonna be in shape, so he's gonna be on. So it's just a matter of where he's at and what other guys look like. So when he's in shape and he can beat some guys that aren't in shape, it's just a matter of who else brings it.
Yeah. He told me that the judge's feedback at the last show was, we want to see you stand next to guys that are more comparable than you. Like it wasn't because there's nothing like, it's not like he has to get bigger. It's not like he has to get more conditioned. It's not like there's a lot he can do about his shape. The judge has literally told him, we want to see you stand next to guys that are going to be more comparable. So bring in the France Pro, right?
Yeah.
Smart move. Very smart.
I'd honestly be surprised if he's any lower than third at this show.
Me too.
Hassan would have to be really peeled to beat him because Lewis, the condition is so consistent from show to show.
Fuck, man, he's good.
And he's not missing any body parts. So like you can be balanced even if you're not shapely, right?
Yeah.
He's still balanced. Yeah.
I'm not going to go through the whole lineup. There's only one more guy I want to get to, and he is a native, a French native, and I've mutilated his name a million times. But I think Kenson had the best attempt because he's in Canada and there's a lot of French-speaking people there. Would you say Leguerrier?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, Theo Leguerrier. Yeah.
The double R is a sound, isn't it? Leguerrier.
Leguerrier. Yeah.
I didn't take French. So up until this year, from what I recall and from what Giles recalls, Theo had been in top 5 in every single show he's done. I guess he's got a new coach. So Italy, he was 7th. Germany, he was 12th, which, on paper, that doesn't bode well for him doing well here because those are very recent outings. But, he looks like he's tightened up. It might have just been a peaking thing because every time you change coaches, they have to figure your body out.
I thought he looked good. I kind of felt like the entire league got better, So.
That's what sometimes they're just better dudes. Like sometimes you can do a show and some guys just better than you. Like you can be totally peeled, shredded, dry, whatever. But like we've all had an ass kicking once before, right? We've all been in shape. We've all got our ass kicked. It's just part of the sport, right? And sometimes you just got to take that ass kicking and keep coming back. But he's not missing nothing. It's just you got to just pick who else is there, bro. Like who else shows up that is good or better than me. And it's just part of bodybuilding.
Yeah, he's actually a big guy. He's one of the few that by himself doesn't look that big, compared to what we're used to seeing from the bigger guys. But when he gets up there and stands next to the bigger guys, Giles said this because I think I've only seen him compete once. Giles has seen him 5 or 6 times, and he says he compares very well. So I think there's a picture of him next to Quinton on here somewhere, where Quinton wasn't that much bigger than him, like you would expect. I'll find it.
Yeah. It's all an illusion with proportions. Like I was talking to Compton after Texas, and he said because I was talking about Bruno, I didn't find him very impressive. He said, "Oh no, he looks a lot more impressive in person. He had a big head, so by himself, he doesn't look as big on his own body. But he said no, he's really impressive. I'm like, okay, that's why you can't talk about shows sometimes when you're not there because sometimes you got to see it in person.
It makes a huge when you're there, dude. It makes a huge difference. People, oh, he sucks. No, it's a different. And when you're there, when you're in the front as compared to like the middle, compared to the very in the auditorium, it's just they're all look for totally different. When you're up close, you see all those strange lumps and bumps and all the, craziness that goes on that you may not see when you're at the back of the auditorium.
It's like when you say, "How does Andrew win not being in shape?" When you see him in person, you know exactly why he wins.
It's next level shit.
And he's even when he has body fat, he has really deep separation, like really deep insertions. And you're like, I feel like he's not peeled, but he kind of looks peeled, anyways.
Great parents.
Somebody wanted to bring this up when we were talking about Stephane. Stephane's not that small because he's here with Theo. You don't really see them next to each other for more than a split second. But yeah,
he's not small, but like I said earlier, there's a density that's different. Like you can be a good height and a good weight and still not be dense enough.
Oh, I always height and weight don't mean anything in bodybuilding. They mean nothing.
No.
But Theo is like nothing. He's very proportionate. Like nothing really stands out or overwhelms you with a body part. It's just all, it's just all, it all flows very well. You know what I mean? Sometimes that could be a problem when like some guys have got freaky body parts, you're drawn to them, right? But when you're just very complete, you kind of sometimes get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. Well, okay, Quint is like 6'2", 270, 280, but next to Urs, well, he didn't look like necessarily denser than him, right? Even though he's taller and weighs so much weight. Because it's not about weight. Weight is irrelevant, honestly. It's just what do you look like,
Ron, I would love the scientist in me would love to see Milos get a hold of Quinton for like 12 months just to see what he can kind of unleash with his protocol.
100%. I mean, he's going to go back to UK and train with Samson Quinton, but I don't know what he's going to be doing differently. I mean, maybe he will. He's been criticized. I don't watch a lot of his training videos, but they say Quinton uses too many machines. Everyone thinks Phil Heath used a lot of machines. He won 7 Olympias in a row.
Dexter Jackson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I feel like that argument is over and done with. Is there a place for free weights? I mean, obviously. Is there a place for machines? Yes. Don't leave anything out of your repertoire is where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I agree.
I've seen. I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say I've seen Milos's entire protocol, the entire email chain. Like he's not shy with sharing it. If Quint followed that, Quint would gain a lot of muscle. It's just there's no way around it. I'm not saying like there's like a ton of drugs or anything like that. It's definitely not mild, but just in general, you follow that and that diet and that supplementation, you're gonna get huge. I don't think there's any way around it.
I don't know what I saw. Oh, yeah, I did.
No, you go ahead.
I was just saying, if you're training with Mr. Olympia, it's not going to equate to like 15 to 20 pounds of muscle, right? It's going to be great content, right? It's great to have somebody push you, but Samson's at a different point in his physique and in his career, right? Quinton's trying to catch up to him, but the same things he can do in Europe, in England, he can do in Canada, right? In your home base where you're comfortable, you're on some sports. Even training on the road's hard. If I go to Boston, Ron, it's different than training down here in Tampa, right? Yeah. So I know it's a lot different than waking up not in your own bed, not in your own kitchen, driving on the different side of the road. Just little stuff that we don't think of. That it sounds awesome. Let's go train in Europe. Let's go to Dubai and train. But the reality is it's hard. Some people can't do that. It's hard. He's got cats. I couldn't be away from my cats. You know what I mean? For like 3 months at a time. Don't lose my damn mind.
Jose Raymond had a great quote about that because years ago he did get an offer to go out to Kuwait. They agreed to host him, put him up there for whatever, a month, 2 months, 3 months. He said, "I got weights at home. You don't need to go over there for weight."
Right?
Yeah. It don't work for everybody. Some people hated it. I mean, not everybody liked it.
Look at Regan. Regan lasted 3 weeks, and Regan actually had to trick his way back home, if you recall.
Yeah.
He thought, but I'm just going to see some family and friends. I'll be back. Don't worry about it.
He didn't come back.
But that's the meathead dream, though, right? That's every meathead would love to be able to go to Venice, train out there, or go to Dubai and eat, sleep, and train. But it's a lot. Like that's a lonely lifestyle, right? It's not like being in your crib, with your homies and being able to toke up. You're in Dubai. It's a whole different culture, a whole different world, man. So, but everybody's not built for that. So whatever Quinton needs to do, I'm sure everybody's gonna give Quinton advice on what to do, but it's just you can't rush the process. You have to just take your time and grow and just do the best you can. You can't rush this shit. Everybody can pull a Nasser like from 94 and 95. That's not gonna happen for everybody,
I will say from speaking to someone I not going to say it. Don't ask me who it was on the DMs. He went to Kuwait more than one occasion, and there is weed. There are girls available for them if they want them. It's not as monk-like an existence as we might believe. So
well then, Kuwait it is.
A couple quick things I want to get to real quick because we've already been going almost an hour. I don't know why this became a story earlier in the week. Because Nick from Nick Strength and Power, who obviously hugely successful channel, he posted and said, Derek and Nick have arrived in Vegas, and look what Nick did to him. Well, we know, A, that Nick is bald now. He didn't magically just regrow all that hair in the blink of an eye. And B, why would they have been in Vegas almost 3 weeks before the show? So this was either arriving at the Pittsburgh airport earlier this year, or the last time they competed. They've only been in the Olympia together once, 2022, I believe. So that's either footage that's from way earlier this year, or it's from 3 years ago.
Could be that guest posing in Pittsburgh too, that Derek kind of like came out of the closet, not out of the closet, but kind of like made his mark. Of the world. My bad, bro.
No, it's okay. But I just thought that was a weird story that came. It's not even a real story, but people tried. I guess it was a slow week. We didn't have anything really going on.
It's cool though. Listen, their little back and forth it's very interesting because it's the new kind of way of shit talking to each other. It wasn't like Kamali and Melvin and all those guys. Theirs is very kind of like subtle and not real deep jabs at each other, but it's still kind of a little tension there.
I mean, they trained together. I saw they did a couple of videos years ago. I don't think they hate each other by any means. It's just a rivalry.
That's it. It's good for the sport, dude.
Well, see, Nick's always a target. I mean, Nick has always been a target when it comes to these rivalries in particular. Remember the created rivalry with Blessing Iwodabu going into the 2022 Olympia, right? Blessing was targeting Nick. And, for the most part, Nick was pretty cool about it, and it was the same thing. Nick did not engage Derek, Derek engaged Nick. Now, not to say that Nick hasn't been a culprit, right? Remember, he made some comments about Samson's back there a couple of years ago as well, right? But for the most part, I think people go after Nick because they know that Nick is a very serious threat. When he's on, he's going to be trouble. Now, for a guy like Derek, I was surprised, but Nick is typically a target.
Okay.
I think the rivalry was friendly until Derek's last comment, and I think it's a little bit more personal now. I'm not saying they're gonna get into a fist fight or nothing like that, but I think it's a little bit more edgy now than it was before.
Yeah, Nick wants to kick his ass. Nick wants to beat him now, and before he wouldn't have been as concerned. Now it's like, okay, even if I go and beat Derek, like there's a little bit of a win there,
And you would pray the judges know this and would just give us a 2-man call out with those two. Even if they're like third or fourth or fourth or fifth, it'd still just be something to see those two in 2-man call. The crowd would go crazy.
Okay. They should do that more often like they used to, man. They really should do that more often. Like 2-man call outs with it's so much fun. So much fun.
Samson and Andrew, Nexzilla, and like Nick, just stuff people want to see. I want to see 100%. Nexzilla next to Nick on stage. That'd be hell of a. I'm sure Nick's better, but just to see those two like rhinos going at it, man, would be so interested, bro.
Yeah, we're definitely talking more about the Olympia next week. Last thing I want to talk about is Matt from Muscle Discord. He has made a very strong case for the use of Chat GPT to judge pro bodybuilding shows. It says it's going to be a lot more consistent than human judges. You could set up a camera or something, have the Chat GPT doing it live. He says he fed the pictures, the comparison pictures of Walker and Derek from Pittsburgh into that, and Chat GPT 5. Is that the one they're on now, version 5? They picked Nick for the win, but I can't see human judges being taken out of the equation. I personally don't like it, but I want to hear what you guys think.
I think Matt should get ChatGPT to run his podcast for him.
Running podcast?
No, I mean that sounds. I don't think that's a good idea at all. Personally, I think human touch is necessary. Chat GPT would have less bias, I guess, if that's the point he's trying to make. But I think human touch is always better. With Matt, so I don't know him personally, so sometimes I can't tell how serious he is.
Right. I don't know if he may be trolling the entire internet.
That's true. You never know.
I can't tell if he says things because he knows it's gonna get talked about, or if he really believes it. It's hard to tell sometimes. It's like Sean Ray. I used to feel like it was all just how he felt, and now I'm starting to think he is saying it to get some talks, some clicks. Yeah. So listen, I can't tell with Matt. I got to be honest with
you, dude. I'm a purist when it comes to this kind of stuff. First of all, the managers would never allow this to happen. So that's the first thing, right? Like that's just dumb. But there's always a human element to everything. Like even in baseball, they're starting to implement like robot stuff, and there's always, for me, it's just that's the purity of the sport is the human element. That it's not perfect. Like gymnastics isn't perfect, or no sport that's subjective is perfect, right? So that kind of having controversy like that kind of fuels our sport and gives us something to talk about. Even bad calls, yeah, they happen in every sport, but it's just that there's a human element to every sport that you can't really get away from. And like, come on, the Chat GPT, that's just some millennial bullshit, man. Come on, that shit.
If you stop and consider that, to me, this is judged more like a pageant, like a beauty pageant, except instead of facial beauty the way they do in the Miss America, Miss Universe, they're looking at the physique, and there are certain traits that they're looking for, certain attributes, structure, size, shape, condition, but it's still at the end of the day subjective, and these judges have a hell of a job. I don't know, have you guys ever judged?
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks. Awful. It's awful. It's the worst. Because especially when you have a lot of really good people up there, because I can't imagine the Olympia. Judging the Mr. Olympia has to be, I'd probably lose the hair that I paid to get back just doing that one show.
and that's for money. That's a lot of money too. You're judging the Olympia. There's contracts on the line. There's just legacy on the line, right? So it's a lot of pressure, and just you're sitting there, and the hard part judging the top two isn't that hard. It's just that 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, where those guys they're kind of close, and you want to judge them correctly. So it's a thankless job, but no, thank you, never again.
And
yeah.
Well,
okay.
I want to defer to the younger guys on the bottom row here. Beatty and Kenson are a lot younger than me and Mike. So Chat GPT, it's AI, it's artificial intelligence, but isn't everything that Chat GPT produces based on what humans have taught it? Because I see like employer things saying, you can help Chat GPT learn this or that. Mm-hmm. They're actively seeking out people to improve Chat GPT in different job positions. But isn't it still based on what humans have told it to look for?
When it comes to AI, it's the ability to go beyond what humans can do in a very short period of time. That's one thing with AI, right? I love my AI tools. I use them on a daily basis when it comes to my business in particular. But that's the thing, is that it is a tool. And you don't always reach into the toolbox for every single tool, because there's times when they're appropriate and times when they're not. In terms of Matt's usage of ChatGPT, in my opinion, I think that it could be something that could be used for discussion purposes. But when you start using it as it being definitive, this is the best opinion, That's where you start getting into territory that I think can be a little bit more than just looking at discussion purposes. I don't think that you can leave things open to interpretation in that way. You have to have the human element in a subjective sport such as bodybuilding. No matter how many times Chat GPT can run 1,000 scenarios of whatever show, and it says 999 times out of 1,000, I had this result. That's fine for discussion purposes, but to say, no, this is the be all end all. This is now better than what anybody else can do. I mean, it negates the work of every single judge out there, essentially, you know, us as commentators as well. And the other thing about Chat GPT, the only other thing I want to say about it is that anytime you put anything into Chat GPT at the bottom of every single page for every single thing you type into it, it says Chat GPT can make mistakes. Check important info. So take that for what it is.
Yeah. The only thing that I guess would be positive about it was that you couldn't blame the judges anymore.
Right.
You didn't like the decisions. There's no one to blame. It was a software program, right? So you can't say politics. You can't say this judge doesn't like me, or this guy had a sponsor that was paying for you couldn't point the finger at anybody. There's no one to blame if decisions don't go your way. And decisions, they're never 100% popular for everybody. It's this Olympia. I guarantee you, at the end of that night, there's going to be a lot of upset people, because if Nick doesn't win, a shit ton of people are going to be mad. If Samson doesn't win, a lot of Samson fans will be pissed. Hottie, Derek, Andrew, you can go on down the line. I've never seen an Olympia where everybody was happy. You got to
imagine when Sam Sulek loses the Arnold next year. How pissed off people going to be.
I mean, they're the reason why there's 7 judges. You throw away one high, one low. It's because you don't want to just have one opinion. And I guess ChatGPT is probably more than one opinion, but I don't think that makes any sense personally.
No, it's not. I use ChatGPT for emails for work. That's something genius, not for judging a bodybuilder. When you're up close and there, that's the best part about the sport, is being there and sometimes disagreeing with what we see. Like, imagine the talking points we're going to have after the Olympia for weeks and weeks, because nobody's going to agree with the decisions, right? It's just what makes it fun. If the Chat GPT says this is the absolute, which is not really absolute, what fun is that, man? Like, what fun is the conversation?
And then, okay, how bad? Huh? How
fucking
how bad is the judging really, right? You get a group of guys like us, or any group of guys who aren't just fans of one person, right? It's not like we're a bunch of Kai Green fans that hate Phil Heath. You get pretty unbiased group of guys. It could be 50 of us, all the analysts, podcast hosts, get them together, and we go over shows. How many placings are we going to disagree with? Like,
exactly.
It's not that bad. Let's be real. Most of us, after seeing the show, had Urs winning, had like, you know, Olympia. Most of us like, yeah, I had Samson win. Like, maybe we'd be like, Hottie could have, but it's pretty fucking close. It's not like the judges are just having these terrible decisions. Like, they're pretty accurate. And Steve Weinberger said something. He said, when I'm sitting there in person, it's not as hard as you think. You know, and anytime I've been to a show and had good seats, I always agree verbatim, because he's right. When you're actually looking at them in person from close up, you can see who's winning, and it's actually pretty clear for the most part. You know, there's going to be closer calls, but they're not that far off. These judges aren't really missing badly, you know. So
Wayne DeMilia isn't on the judging panel anymore, so it's fair.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm throwing this old story, but I was at the Pro Ironman. It was either 91 or 92. It was one of the first years I was working in the industry. Jim Mannion was the head judge at that show. And after judging, I happened to be like, I don't know why I was sitting among the judges. I was there for the TV production, but for whatever reason, I was sitting like in the same row. And Jim says, what are the TV picks? And I looked at the score sheet and I went, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He goes, exactly what I had. So I was a perfect judge. I think I just threw that out there to name drop. But I just don't think anything where it's that subjective, you're ever going to have a computer program that's going to be, you know, Mike talks about the human touch, but it's beyond that. We're seeing things in 3D. We're seeing them from the lens of, in the case of a Weinberger, somebody who's sat in that seat and looked at probably 5,000 pro shows in his lifetime. You know, you can't substitute that with I know it's not a robot, but I'm going to say with a robot.
Mm-hmm.
We all saw Terminator. We all saw how Terminator turned out, right? That's some Chat GPT shit. That's what's going to happen. Keep messing with these goddamn computers, bro.
Exactly.
Right, man.
Hey, we've seen Steve make some hard choices. You had Victor versus Jay. Victor was training at his gym, a good friend of his.
Yeah.
He didn't pick Victor. Same with Kai.
That's
Kai
true.
was training at Beth gym. He didn't pick him. You know, so it's one of those things that I don't think the bias is the way people think. And there was the thing. At one point, I was like, they should have bodybuilders be judges. How come Lee Haney and Phil Heath aren't judges? Well, first of all, they would never do it because they wouldn't pay enough. And second of all, they would be the most biased ones because they want something that represents, like, subconsciously, right? You're gonna see Lee prefer the physiques that look more like him, right? It's just we all do it subconsciously, right? So you're gonna be there. I think Samson is winning, even if most people have Hadi winning or something, right? So I actually don't think it probably wouldn't be a good idea for retired bodybuilders to be judges, you know, even if they got paid money. You know,
Mike, tell me if you remember this. You remember the challenge round, which was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a totally separate panel to judge that? And wasn't it all retired pros?
Retired. Oh, Samir was one of the judges. Haney, they all were retired pros. It was 04 and 05, right? The challenge round thing.
Yeah.
04 and 1 was all retired pros. And that was a year. Remember, like Ronnie won by 1 point. Or no, Gustavo won the challenge round. Gustavo won, yes. Yeah. The challenge round, but that wasn't. So there's a reason we have professional judges, right? Gustavo was so good. But it's Ronnie Coleman, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you can't judge individual opponents because, like I said, we all have some kind of bias, right? You know, I thought Sean Ray ran every show. Now, when you look back, you think, wow, Dorian was pretty fucking big. Ronnie was pretty damn good. Right, because when you're in it, we all have biases. I think when you're not emotionally invested in the sport, you can look at it from a different lens, right? I can look at it like now. I'm like this. I'm chilling at the shows. I'm not like, oh, so and so is how's Flex gonna do? How's Chris or Sean gonna do? So you can appreciate it more as a fan than kind of like a Sam Sulek fan or a Bumstead fan. Like, they walk on water. Chris could be like 380. Like, oh, you should win the show. Like, Sam Sulek is not going to win the Classic Arnold, but people are going to lose their mind because they think he should win, right? Oh, yeah. So you want unbiased opinions. I think the judging that we have now is probably the best judging we've ever seen, right? Like, you look at all the shitty shows and results we've seen in the years of bodybuilding. Like, we're at a point now to where we really don't argue too much about. We disagree, like the body said, like, yeah, so and so, but we're not like, no, that's not how it happens. So it's just, you know, you gotta just kind of appreciate like where we're at.
What does RN stand for?
Right now.
Oh, it's huge. I thought they meant registered nurse, but okay, thank you. Beatty, are you going to the Olympia, Beatty?
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there with the squad. Joe, the Blackstone boys, Joe, Paul, Compton is coming out. We Uncle Compton is going, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Unless Blackstone decides we love Ron so much, we're gonna send him to the Olympia. You're not gonna see me at the Olympia again. I used to go for years because MD paid for everything. People talked a lot of crap about Steve Bleckman, MD, but let me tell you, I went to all the shows I wanted to go to. Airfare, hotel, meal allowance. So those are good times.
Good days, bro. Good days.
But definitely the Blackstone. You're gonna be at the Blackstone booth, right, Beatty?
I don't know if they're gonna have a booth, but we're gonna make our own booth. We're gonna have a fucking a paper against the wall, write Blackstone Labs on it, and then we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there shaking baby. You know?
All right. Well, I'm gonna put it. Try to keep these things close to an hour. I feel bad when they drag out to an hour and a half. So next week we're going to be a week and a half, actually like a week and 2 days out from the Olympia.
Oh
So
shit!
that definitely, yeah, it's coming, dude. Time freaking flies. So that's going to be next week. We'll be talking a lot more about the Olympia. Fit Nation, boof. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Like boof. No, it's because my accent. It's my accent, so they're making fun of my accent.
Rude. So check out Beatty's Fit Nation podcast, the Fit Nation podcast. Great channel. Kenson Jardine, you see it right there. EP09 is his channel. He does great content. And me and Mike, this is all we do. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. My fellow meatheads of the world, unite. And we will see you next week right here on the Meathead podcast. Thanks for watching.